Welcome to Coffee with Janis and Karen.
And we're going to be talking about something that I had written on Facebook. Every once in a while, not every day, because I just try to wait sometimes until I got something to say. If you don't have something to say. I was standing in my kitchen a couple days ago and just kind of leaning up against the countertop. It was in the morning, and this bright light shone on me, really bright. And I thought, what is that? And I looked, and it was a cloud had moved away from the sun. And I looked up, and the sun was bright white, so it looked like the moon, but it was in the east. And I thought, well, I don't think that's the moon. And so then the clouds went over it again, and I was kind of like, oh, because I was enjoying it. And so I was looking up to see if I could see them again, the sun again, and it wouldn't. The clouds kept covering it up. And finally, I kept looking, and there was a break in the clouds, and I could see the sun again. And it had risen, it had gotten higher. And now there was still some brightness behind some of the clouds, but still it was so covered. They covered the sun so much. And so I kept watching, and eventually the sun got so high that, the whole sky is full of light. And it made me think about that song, Back of the Clouds, the sun is always shining. You remember that one?
No.
Back of the clouds, the sun is always shining. No, okay. It's an old
one. Okay,
I think
that
my
is
mom would
old.
sing it.
Okay.
And so it made me think of that song, and it made me, it's a lesson I've heard, I guess, most of my life, because I knew that song. But it made me realize that the sun is always there, whether we can see it or not, or whether we're aware of it or not. And so many times in our life, we are going along, and the sun, we have this bright illumination, something happens, spiritual thing happens or something. And so we get all excited, and we know that we have this closeness, this oneness with the Lord, and He speaks into our spirit, and so we're sure of something. Maybe it's healing, maybe it's, salvation, maybe it's something else, whatever it is. But you get this assurance somehow that it's going to be okay, that it's handled and taken care of. But then what happens is Satan throws you a cloud. And so...
Anybody relate to that?
Yeah. Now, nothing has changed.
Right.
Except Satan threw you a cloud. And it did not change that illumination of that event that the Lord had shown you.
Yeah.
But here's what happened. We began believing that the cloud is more important than the sun. So whether that's a symptom or whether that's, anything that doesn't go along with what the Lord said was going to happen.
Yes, yeah.
Then, we are beginning to focus on the clouds. But you know what I was doing? I kept looking for that sun. I kept wanting to see the sun again because it was so beautiful. And I knew the sun was still there.
Yeah.
And just naturally, the sun's still there. Well, and so figuratively or spiritually, what we do, though, is we're like, well, there's clouds now, so I guess I didn't hear right.
Yes.
Or I guess God doesn't care about this. Or maybe God doesn't do that anymore, and I was just wrong. When, no, you were right to begin with. When God speaks to you, you know that my sheep know my voice. So that means we know the enemy's voice.
Mm-hmm.
And so the problem is we're so used to the enemy's voice that we listen to that voice because it's comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
We don't like it, but we're used to it because we haven't taken charge and we haven't told ourselves enough. The sun is still there.
Yeah.
Just because Satan threw the cloud doesn't mean the sun isn't still there. It doesn't mean the promise won't happen.
Yeah.
Jesus was promised, the deliverer was promised in Genesis.
We need to learn that line, "Get thee behind me, Satan."
Yeah.
That was said more than once in Scripture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even Jesus had to tell Peter that.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
so.
Well, we know who was operating in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of times it's no, that's not going to happen, or that's fear, or something like that. We operate in fear a lot.
Yeah.
And so the point is don't focus on the clouds. We have to focus on the sun. The sun is still there. Nothing changes. He never changes. Never changes. And so if he never changes, then if something changed, it wasn't him.
Yeah.
It was we who changed.
Yeah.
We changed our mind. We changed our mind that God did not want to heal us. That God must not, because I'm still going through. I still have this. And this is something that I'm living through, that I'm having to walk through.
Yeah.
In my own life. And so that's how come I guess I'm so, I don't want anybody to think that they need to call me up and have me pray for them and heal them or anything like that.
Yeah.
What the Lord is trying to do for me is to bring me up to speed where I need to be, where I should have already been, probably.
Right. Well, we're still learning.
Yeah.
Yes, we're still learning. Yes.
To begin focusing on Him and on His promises. And again, my sheep hear my voice. I know what the voice of the shepherd sounds like. And I know what my voice sounds like. And so, and I know what the enemy's the cloud sounds like.
Yeah.
And so I want to be at the place in my life where I'm always seeing the sun, regardless of the clouds. And I'm always hearing the voice of the shepherd exclusively.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah. Karen, the promise, He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. He does not change.
No.
And even though circumstances and life changes, He will never change. I mean, that's a promise in His Word, and He's not a liar. So, yeah. I stand on that one a lot.
And you know what? You can ask a favor of God too.
Yeah.
And yesterday, I asked a favor of God. And I got it. And I told you yesterday, I said, the Lord would make the sun and the moon stand still for you. And Elijah was just a regular guy. And he prayed earnestly that it wouldn't rain. And it didn't rain on the earth. I believe it was 3.5 years.
Can you imagine? It's been long enough down here in Texas, hasn't it?
Yes. Now, I know that it says it rains on the just and the unjust.
Yes.
But there are things that you can ask the Lord. And He will do it for you.
Yeah.
And then there was the king who was going to die. And the prophet goes to him and tells him, you get to set your house in order because you're going to die. And then the king turns his face to the wall and he cries out to the Lord and says, Lord, I did this and this and this and this. I tried to live before you. And the Lord sends the prophet back and tells him, you're going to live. You're going to get 15 more years. What sign do you need to know? Or maybe the king asked, I don't remember. What sign will I need to know that I'm going to go to the house of the Lord, that everything's going to be okay? And the prophet said, do you want the sun to move 10 steps backwards or 10 steps forward? And the king says, well, it's no big deal to move forward, so let's make it move backwards, you know? I mean, and then that creates, was that time travel? You know, what was that? I mean, can we go back in time and find a longer day?
Right.
Did everybody else notice that? Or was it, you know? And
for him specifically.
But you know, God will do things just for you. And maybe everybody else around the world's going, is it darker outside? You know?
I have a friend that walks with the Lord that I remember always telling me, I'm his favorite. And we're all his favorite. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah,
but every child has a different relationship with the Father.
Yeah.
All of my kids have a different relationship with my husband. Mm-hmm. You know? Mm-hmm. And some of them, you know, but everyone is right though. Mm-hmm. If they all were the same, well, that'd be kind of boring. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to have a different relationship with Jesus than Janis is going to have. Yeah. And so what we do is we share, and we compare notes, and we encourage each other. Yeah. So, but the Lord is trying to teach me quite a lot.
Well, that moved me. Karen told me that last night. We had our trio practice last night, and when she told me that, I mean, it just hit, you know, to think that God would move heaven and earth for me or for you. Yeah. And just the thought of his love, it's very hard for me to comprehend that love. And I had a earthly father that loved me, but to grasp the love that God has for us is difficult.
And the thing that he's trying to get me to see too is, when Jesus died on the cross, he led captivity captive, and he made a whole procession, and he showed the enemy, you know, here's what I did, and he gave gifts unto men, it says. Mm-hmm. And so now it says we are seated with Christ. Mm-hmm. If we are seated with Christ and we're joint heirs and he paid for all of that, then I have been tricked most of my life. Mm-hmm. And I've been told that, oh, you know, you're just a little beggar girl. Yeah. But I'm seated with Christ. Yeah. And that's hard to get your brain around. It's something I'm having to remind myself.
Yes, or retrain your mind.
Yes, yes. This is my, okay, if this is true, Lord, since it is, how then shall I live? Yeah. How shall I pray? You know. And so this is the training that's happening. Yeah. And so it's interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good thoughts, Karen. This has been Coffee with Janis and Karen.